everyone, welcome back to Tarot 101. Today we'll be talking about number 18, the moon. We will be continuing in the celestial bodies of the tarot. The majority of the major arcanas are about introspection. The next few cards, and it actually started with the star, the moon, and the sun, are a look at the external forces that affect our journey. The moon represents the zodiac sign of Pisces, which are the pair of fish, which is a water sign, February the 18th to March the 18th. So it's actually the last of the zodiac signs. The next sign after Pisces is Aries, and then we start the cycle all over again. The moon is about hidden things. It can be a very empathic card. It can be a card of deep, deep intuition. It is a card that has a good bit of mystery to it. This is the traditional Rider-Waite, as you can see. It has the sun and the moon up here together. It is the moon, but it does kind of look like the sun a little bit. They're always yellow balls, or traditionally yellow balls, although I do have this one, which has the crescent, which I actually like a lot better. We have these lower animals. They're not humans. And we do have, traditionally, a lot of water. So that represents the elemental, emotional side of this card. Things that are pushed way down, things that are hidden, things that are not as clear. Whenever I get this card in a reading, it means, obviously, like nighttime, things are a little more difficult to see. They're a little bit more difficult to understand. You don't get all of the details. So it is a card of not always seeing what you're getting. It's kind of like test driving a car and not looking under the hood. You'll notice most of these actually have towers rebuilt. Now, a few cards ago, we talked about the tower. These towers are nice and steady. We have rebuilt them. These are on very solid ground. There's that lovely boat. These towers are solid. These towers are on solid ground. We have rebuilt the towers. And actually, you can get a nice look at them a little bit better in this. This is the Morgan Greer pocket-sized deck. This is the one in the tin. But yes, we have the dog, we have the wolf, we have actually I think it's a lobster coming out of the water. It's usually a crustacean, some sort of crab or some sort of lobster that can work its way onto the water. I like the ones that have a crab because crabs really do live in kind of the tide pools of the ocean. They can go onto land, they can go into the water. They're constantly in adjustment. So it is that kind of cyclical, the life cycles of things. Moons can often represent cycles of life. And if you're looking for timing, at least when I read it, if you're looking for a timing on a reading, should this resolve by type of scenario, it usually means to be within the next few weeks, by the next full moon, or the next time around. It's a very powerful card. It is a card of taking what we have learned, all of our intuition, and what have we talked about? Birds. This one actually has no other people on it. Taking what we have learned, making those decisions based on what we know, and trusting our emotional instincts, that things are not always what they seem, trusting our wisdom. Birds, to me, whenever I see a bird in a card, it means freedom. But this is an owl, so he means freedom and wisdom. At least in this little deck, I like working with this little deck here. And you'll see, again, card of Pisces here. It is, it's a little different energy. It does have a lot of that high priestess empress energy. And the iconography can be very, very similar. Singular character, often with a moon. In this case, it's the crescent moon between two pillars. So it is that introspective energy. It is that hidden information energy that you often get with the high priestess. Um, there's a lot going on in this card. This is the golden tarot with the golden back. There's a lot going on. There's no water that I can see. There's a little bit of water here, but it does have that little crab down there. Again, kind of walking between two worlds, working out what is possible, what you actually see versus what you think you see. But again, this is further into the major arcana. So this is a tower that is on solid ground. This is taking the lessons that we have learned and building upon them. We're heading towards the end. Um, this one is the influence of the angels, and you can see all those monsters. And does not seem to be bothered by that monster. None of those monsters. None of those monsters seem to bother this particular angel. And these are kind of not, these aren't really fun looking things. But this angel knows they look scary in the moonlight. They're probably not in the daylight. And that was my point earlier. Things are not always what they see at night. When things are obscured, information is hidden from you. In the daytime, and we'll talk about that with the next card with the sun, things are always a lot clearer and more detailed, and you can pay better attention to them at night, simply because things are illuminated more. Things are more positive. A lot of people will read that the moon is the opposite of the sun, where the sun is the big ball of joy in the tarot, and it is. The moon is not the opposite of that. The moon is appreciating the joy of the sun. So it's not the opposite. It's not dark and it's not cold and it's not bad in any way. I mean, it's universal energy. It's a major arcana. It's just, it lets you appreciate the sun that much more because you've learned the lesson that without the sun, you can't have the moon. Without the moon, you can't have the sun. Without the joy, you can't have the difficulties and the challenges. And you know what each of these are now because you have moved into your journey. You can realize this. The Fool, way back, the first card, the Zero, is going to look at these dogs and go, oh, that's a cute little puppy. Oh, that's a nice little stream. Doesn't recognize the full picture. And so that's how far we've come. A lot of the major arcana do a good bit of navel gazing, as it were. Yeah, it's a lot of introspection. This is taking the lessons you have learned from all of that introspection. And the star is that way, the moon is that way, the sun is that way, the world is that way, the resurrection is that way. Taking all of that information that you've learned about yourself and applying it to the external world. Yeah, you know that these towers are sturdier than they used to be because we have traveled through the tower. You know that water is your emotional anchor. You know that it can look like this a lot, but there are times when it looks like this. It looks calm, but you know that there's a lot of life underneath it. So it is a larger picture card, which is nice if you want to look at it that way. I guess we'll talk more about all of that information and more about all of that energy in the next chapter when we talk about the sun. I will see you next time, family.